books I need, says Chemist. Sleeping Beauty says, I was part of convincing him in 10 rolls of that purple. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the links there. Exclamation Drew J. Cooney. I appreciate you. When is book number 2? Says, of course, gifts by, right? We'll talk about what we can talk about or not, but that's a great question. Little Shop of Horrors, Bop Shoe Bop. Oh my gosh. You'll have me singing Sweetling. You did that in high school. Oh shit, cool. Will there be a sequel, says Zaddy? All these okay, so forget about this book and talk, and people are asking the next one. They're already hungry for it, Drew. What can you or can you not share?
As of right now, there's not a second book planned. That's not to say I won't do another one. I think it might be a little different if I were to do it again.
Yeah, the things you've learned though, right, along the way, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, when did this book launch officially for folks who may not know?
September. So September, I think 16th or 13th is when it officially dropped.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so for about a month before that was the marketing on social media, and that largely fell on me. I had to make a certain amount of videos per week or a certain amount of posts per week. I chose videos because that's what I'm good at.
You're right, you are.
But so yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. Like I wrote it in 3 months and then waited for a few months before anything else happened, and then did a bunch of work and then waited and then did all the marketing and then it was released and then.
Did you take the photos or did you have to ship them, the Ammies themselves, to take photos? Like how did that, because you have them there with you, but like how did that work with like photo shoots and whatnot?
They have been on a journey. So I
did traveling.
I shipped them off a giant box of stuffed animals to a photographer in New York. I'm gonna look up her name because
if you can share any of the photographers' names or credits of obviously we can promote them too and plug them, but that'd be awesome.
Evie Abler, and the one photo that she took of like the group.
I love that shot so much. I really love it. The inside cover shot is just so strong.
So I haven't printed it out yet, but I'm planning on printing it out and getting it framed on my wall.
This is the greatest shot ever of all your little creatures. Imagine being a photographer playing with stuffed toys, like hello.
And I sent along a little style guide to make sure that, because they all got like a little crumpled or disheveled.
Imagine.
So I sent this guide and I called it Fantastic Beasts and How to Style Them. And I thought it was funny, but no one ever commented on it.
I love that name, the fact that you did that.
So then she took all the photos and then she shipped them off to the technical editor. So there was a technical editor who looked through and made sure that the pattern that was on the page matched the finished Stuffy, and had questions like, it says this many number, but it actually looks like this, is that correct? And
that's okay. That's good conversation though to have that. I appreciate that, especially when a photographer may get something that's been delivered in a box of things and you're like, can we do a little quick connect to see how they all arrived?
Yeah.
This one's arms up by its head and maybe you need to bend that down a little bit. This one's got a dent in his head from, we need to puff that, nicely.
Yeah, and so after the technical editor and I went through everything to make sure the patterns were right, she shipped them back to me, and so now I have them. And I sentimentally, I don't think I'll ever be able to get rid of them. I think that I need to have a shelf where I display all of them. But there's a lot.
There's a lot. I mean, plus all the things you make, it seems like every hour on social. I'm kidding, or at least daily. But let's talk. What was the very first one? And I'm saying, of all the things you had, what was the first one that you thought of versus the one you first actually started to plan, write the pattern, and make and crochet? Or were you a mix of all over the place, like some of us squirrels over here? How does that work when you're like, okay, cool, 20 ideas, I can do all of these things? How did you structure and discipline yourself, knowing that you have this fantastic opportunity and a lot of work to do?
Yeah. Well, one of the big things about this book is that it's supposed to be easy. And so for a lot of them, they share the same body type.
Oh, that's true of a lot of things too in Abby World, right? Like the head shape.
So I sort of divided them up by their body shape. And so I think the dragon and the griffin and the I wrote the book and I can't remember what's in it.
It's okay. Just peek over your shoulder, right?
right? Like jackalope, the kitsune, the dragon, and the griffin all have the same body shape, body type, whatever. They just have different ears and horns and accessories and stuff. And then the catacorn, the dandelion, the pig, the enchanted mushroom, they all have the same body shape. So I had to break it into groups of 5 because I would have a deadline with 5 patterns.
Okay.
And so I would either all 5 the same type or 4 and then 1 outlier, like the griffin or the phoenix has a different body shape than anything else in the book.
It's very unique then, as opposed to the common, and maybe there's a different size for some of them, but the general flow of the shapes for some things will follow inherently, right?
Exactly. So a lot of them share pattern pieces. Like the wings are the same for everything that has wings in the book. That's the same pattern. It's just in different colors.
That's okay. That's clever though. Like, why reinvent the wing when the wing works? Like, the wing works.
I broke it down, and I think the dragon was the very first one out of all.
Davina?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the first one I'd ever made. That was the first one I designed for the book.
I think it's amazing that Davina got the cover too. Like, hello, dragons? What kind of fans?
Organized the patterns sort of. They didn't have an order for the book, so I kind of sent them to them in the order that I wanted them in. And Davina's the only one that moved, and they moved her up to the front, and so I was kind of like, she's going to be on the cover.
Wow.
Which happened, so that was exciting.
I'm here for that. So a couple questions in chat here. Luna jokes, can you connect me with a publisher, because I have cross-stitch ideas, like, but you hear this a lot, right? And I think there's some misnomers about publishers, and I know Luna's teasing and joking, maybe half serious, but like, talk about that, because I think breaking into something like you did was by part luck, but I also believe it was part networking, and you never know where those opportunities will come up. So in that way, it was partly due to your connections. So I have to wonder, is there something to tug at for people who would consider, here's the things I need to chase or try to do to even have a chance, or what have you? Like, talk about that side of things, because luck is part of it, but you had a network, and no, that's not cheating bringing them to Twitch. Okay, thanks.
I think that I think it's kind of all I don't know how to put this, but I think that having a network means having people in all sorts of different walks of life, and you never know where that opportunity is going to come from. So it's not just about like finding someone in publishing and like being like making them, because sometimes they don't have the power to be like, hey, you know, this person has a book idea, they should write it, you know. Like, I think about jobs that I've had, and if like someone came to me with an idea for that company, like when I worked at Petco's not going to listen to me. I'm like a brusher bather, like they're not gonna. So it's more about just being authentic and making connections with as many people as possible that you vibe with, because you never know who's going to have that opportunity. Unfortunately, I have no sway with any publisher. Yeah,
exactly, right. I've been published, but I couldn't even get you in. It's like, I don't even know if I have a second book. If not, don't worry, I made one. That was it.
So yeah, it's just kind of like, never burn bridges if you can help it, because you never know when
it's true. I mean, it could have been a coffee shop friend. It could have been someone like on the line. It could have been someone in passing or through a network, a friend. It's not like you're going to rub shoulders with 50 publishers and maybe one will stick, but at the same time, your network, grow your network. Go different walks of life. I think some of my advice is to connect and grow with other creators. You know, they have networks, you have networks, but at the same time, collaborations. Like, I wanted to promote your book ever since people were bitching, why haven't you had Drew on? And he's been on Twitch now for a while. I'm like, he's just joining. Like, I gotta talk to the man and get this organized. But they were screaming for you. I'm like, okay, I'll get him on. But yeah, I know, right? Slippy Dude says, can you make us a pick stitch Amy pattern, Drew? Oh God.
You know, there's a possibility,
right?
Nothing is in.
God, make me a doll. Here we go. I was like, you never know how much you're going to need, but buy the yarn, right? Sleeping Beauty with the purple skeins. Danny says the book was amazing. I was glad to be able to get it. Thank you for grabbing his book, Danny. I appreciate that. They had their own fashion shoot. Yeah, Joaquin the Phoenix is also a great name. Yeah, some of the names. Let's talk about the names of these creatures in the book, because like, if y'all don't know, there's a whole whack of them here on the inside, but I'll read some of the names for you. Obviously, we've heard Davina the dragon. We got Moira the pegacorn, Percival the griffin, Joaquin the phoenix, like Quentin the gnome. Where do these names come from? And if they're related to real life people, just say they're not.
So they told me I needed to name them. I typically don't name them. I mean, I've started since the book naming them, but
Sure.
I would like to let people like name their own things.
Mm.
I always have a story, but like I have a flamingo that I make, and this little girl received it as a gift, and she named him Frank, and she took him on all these adventures, and I was like, Frank is better than anything I would have come up with.
Yo,
Like,
Lady Epona, thank you for the resub. 6 months. Just get a quick alert here. I appreciate it. Look at the chaos hookers. I know, right?
Look at the chaos hookers.
Thank you for that resub, Lady Epona. Welcome in. It's good to see you. Go on about the name. So you how do you force to choose a name? Like Davina the Dragon sounds like it's playing to alliteration, but then where did Davina come from? Was there other D names before Davina? Like I think about that stuff.
So there's 3 places that the names came from. One, some kind of pop culture. Like Moira the Pegacorn, who is a rose color, is named after Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek. And Davina is actually from the spin-off to the Vampire Diaries called The Originals.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you got some history here.
After Davina Claire. But I loved the name Davina, and I was like, that's a great D name.
It's a beautiful name. Beautiful name.
And then Joaquin the Phoenix is named after Joaquin Phoenix.
After name Joaquin, the actor.
Yeah. And actually, I would like to read, if I may.
Please do read.
I got to write a little blurb about each of them, and so this is what I wrote for Joaquin the Phoenix. The phoenix is a beloved magical creature that symbolizes rebirth. It lives its life in a blaze of glory until consumed by its own flames. Then it rises once again from the ashes. Joaquin is a phoenix in the prime of his life, burning brightly across the sky. Some would even say he's a star. He would make a great gift for anyway. So that's Joaquin Phoenix.
There's undertones all throughout that blurb, from the star to the.
And when I wrote that, I named him Joaquin, and I sent it to my editor with like a note already attached saying, I know I might not be allowed to do this because he's a real person, but I think this is too funny.
Any names that may be similar to others are simply coincidence, caveats, subtext.
The other option were puns or like plays on word. So Gus, the enchanted mushroom, who is Fun Gus, because fun guy.
Cause fun guy? Oh my gosh.
And then the cloud sprites are Gale and Iris, like a gale of wind.
Gale of wind. Oh my gosh. The Iris of the storm.
Well, she's the goddess of rainbows from Greek mythology.
Oh, okay.
Little rainbows.
We're getting schooled today.
And then I literally Googled flamboyant names that are out of fashion.
Okay, I need to Google this later.
That's where like Tiberius came from, and Percival, and Barnabas, Pippin, Quentin, Basil.
I love Basil. Basil's
So-
like that name from like a Disney or something movie from like back, Gus and like that kind of stuff. Like think about that.
So if it wasn't alliteration, it was just something that I thought was fun.
Alliteration's fun though. I can totally see that. But the fun guy and Gus, that's clever. That's just clever.
And when, like, Leonard the Dandelion, I just thought Leonard was a fun name.
Leonard's adorable. Yeah, some don't need a reason or history, Welcome in, Grimmy. I just saw that as well. Half serious because I know it's harder to do, but I also may have a connect, right, Luna? Following publishers and agents that will post what you're looking for if you have sent it in. Yeah, it's true. Always pay attention. Having an agent or something, if you're looking into that realm, can cost you money, but they're connected if you have agents. All my jobs came through networking, says Poop Speak. Being authentic and connecting with people, it's great advice. Your first registered nurse job straight out of your last clinical placement. Yeah, like even internships and things like working in publishing houses, like you learn from the industries you've worked in. I learned about publishing and how it was a dying trend in history. And I was like, I can't stay in this. I need to do digital because publishing will only have fall-offs in print jobs. So I don't want to fall victim to that, but I certainly was a sponge for learning, which would help me in agency and marketing life years later after working in an agency, which I love. Those are awesome names, says Suave Jimmy Ranger, right? Aren't they adorable? LP says, I have to head for the night. No worries, LP. Thank you for swinging in. Have a good rest of your night. Your husband loves the Phoenix, Luna. Isn't it cute? Pigeon Shiro, welcome in. Chemist, Riku, and sorry, all the names, right? Leonard the Lion, I love it. Your FBI agent's gonna look at that search history and go, what the fuck? Oh my gosh.
I don't think that's the alarming thing. But...
Yeah, totally. And welcome back from Lurk Aurora. Good to see you. So okay, let's talk. We got a couple minutes here. I think we might take a quick little break or